We did it. Jesus is born. A miracle has happened again this year, and we all know the story. Even people who don't go to church very often know the gist of this one, right? There's a pregnant lady on a donkey. It's lonely, it's freezing cold. There's a mean innkeeper who says, no, there's no room for you. Go sleep in the barn. And so she goes and gives birth all alone in a cold barn with her clueless betrothed and an ox, maybe an assortment of animals, depending on your childhood nativity scene associations. The problem is that's actually not what the text says. And sometimes when we have heard a story too many times, it can become impossible to hear. She gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no place for them in the inn. That's it. That is all we have in the text. To get 10,000 Christmas carols, nativity scenes, even the one with Santa kneeling in the three-sided barn on the hillside, far away. The problem is that is not how houses were built in these days. Nobody had the space to build a barn miles away on a hillside and fill it with your good, warm livestock and then go get them. The manger is on the first floor of the house. It's sort of like a built-in garage, more than a barn far away. The guest room is up on the roof, and it is full. Someone is already staying in the guest room, and so they say to Mary and Joseph, our house is already full. The guest room is full, but you can stay here in the warmest part of the home where the family lives. You can stay in the chaos in the midst of our busy lives. There will be room for you, but it might be a little crazy. Mary is probably surrounded by cousins and aunts and friends and an entire community. There may also be an ox and an ass and a little sheep and a tiger, depending on your home nativity set. There's no motel, there is no innkeeper. There is no three-sided barn on an icy hillside. There is a house and a life that is so full, that is so packed with people, that they must learn to make room for love in the most unlikely places. God does not show up in this world all alone, and God certainly does not ask Mary, thanks be to God, to give birth isolated from community. Jesus is born in the midst of rich and full lives. Love comes among us in a place that is already too full for love to fit, and somehow there is room anyway, even in a manger. Let us picture Mary then, in the midst of this family home. Sure, she is not necessarily in her house, but it is full. It is a cozy and crowded and warm scene that we can picture this baby being wrapped in whatever they have on hand to welcome them. And the shepherds out there on the hillside probably were afraid because angels seem a little scary. But they are not told to go to some mansion or some fancy palace. They are not told to go somewhere where the smell of sheep will be an obstacle to their welcome. They are told, go and see this baby who is in a manger that is probably identical to the one in your house. God is going to show up in the softest and most unlikely place, and you are invited to go see it. We can make room, no matter how crowded our lives, no matter how humble and chaotic, no matter what kind of animals are filling the first floor of your house, there is probably room. It may just be a little manger, and all you may have to wrap love in is some scraps of cloth. But that has never stopped love, and it does not need to stop love now. What I'm saying is it is okay if you did not get around to preparing a mansion before today. It is okay if your life is already full. It has never stopped love, and it will not stop love now. Maybe the best we can do is try and scoot a very stubborn cow a foot or two to the left to welcome those who are bringing the news of love to us, to make room in our lives, because thanks be to God, love is born today, and there will be room. Amen.